Hello, it is January 2015, and this is Feature Creep. I'm Jay.
I'm Jeremy.
I'm Alix.
Calvin, I guess.
And Calvin, I guess. And this is our first ever episode. I have no idea how it's going to go. What are you guys feeling?
It's going to go terribly.
It's the best thing you've ever
It's because we totally didn't just record it before this.
No, we didn't. So, in this podcast, we're all working on video games, and we go through the progress on that, and then we talk about pizza some and boats or something. Anyone got a better summary?
And don't go to college.
And
don't go to college.
I think we talked about that.
We discourage higher education. And so, after the audio, you're going to hear us talk about our games. That sucks. We got to just redo it.
I think that's perfect. Just leave it just like that.
Feature Creep. I don't know. You guys want to start then and talk about yourselves and what you're working on, I guess?
Yeah. Okay. Calvin, go ahead. You start. You're good at this.
Oh, okay. So
talk about yourself.
Calvin, that's me, and Alix.
That's me.
And we a company that we made called Robot Loves Kitty.
Yes, we make companies. That's what we do.
That's what we do mostly. No. The thing that we like to do is make video games.
Yes.
And we make some.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're real good at this. Thanks for
I haven't heard of that before.
What?
A video game?
No. Yeah. What?
Wow.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, so few people know.
So you know games, awesome. Right?
Well, I know about the Nintendo box.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is like games with video.
It's like the Nintendo box. But
yeah. I've seen that on the TV. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Like that. Oh, we've made Legend of Dungeon, which is a roguelike beat 'em up. We made other games before that, but Legend of Dungeon is probably the only one anyone would have heard of.
I've heard of that. Yeah, I remember it doing the Kickstarter promotion circuit back in the day when it was on Kickstarter, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that was just over 2 years ago now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's old. We released it last year, and we're currently working on an update for it that gives it Oculus VR mode.
It may or may not be finished at this point.
And we've got a whole bunch of new content. And we're also working on a game called Upsilon Circuit, which is going to be crazy cool.
Can you describe that one?
No.
No. That takes the whole show.
It might.
No. Do we have a good quick summary?
I have it. So it's a online RPG, action RPG, but with only one server, and only 8 people in the whole world can ever play it once. And when one of those 8 people dies, they can never play the game again. Mm-hmm. But it broadcasts out to a live stream audience, and when someone dies, someone from the audience is selected to come in and have their one shot at playing the game.
Yes.
That's the best way to describe it.
That is super cool. And I think I read somewhere that the audience can interfere in ways a little bit.
Yes, there's all kinds of other crazy details and weirdness.
Yeah,
but that's the quickest way to describe it.
It's got some, I guess, the Running Man sort of Hunger Games style interaction as well as some other stuff too. The way we sort of decided to describe it is that the audience gets to be the dungeon master, strategist, and judge and jury. Because if you don't like the person, then you're not going to help them and try to kill them. Because you can do that too.
Yeah, that is really exciting.
That'd be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. It's really cool.
That's one of the main motivations is making a game to watch. For us. That's why we want to make it.
Watching people stream Legend of Dungeon, and then we were like, what if it was more?
What if Legend of Dungeon was just for streaming?
Watching a Twitch stream of your game is going to be super meta and weird.
Yes.
Right, because they'll be streaming already, and then How many games can you get away with?
Many.
We can have streaming the stream.
I'm going to stream our reactions to the game.
Well, that's cool.
awesome.
How long have you guys been working on it?
We came up with the idea almost exactly a year ago. Like last Christmas was when we really solidified the idea.
I told the idea to like your brothers, and they were like, "That's stupid."
Yeah, well,
And I was like,
my brothers are stupid.
"Yeah, we're gonna do it anyway."
Yeah, that's what we do.
Nah, that's exciting sounding to me. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh man.
Hopefully it works. It's kind of super duper ambitious.
It is. Wow, that's pretty cool.
So it's sort of terrifying. We're like pretty much constantly stressed out
No.
and excited at the same time. It's a weird mix, but
My favorite criticism is typically when people just say, "That's stupid," and then they just So it's just like this blanket statement that you can't get anything from, and you're just like, "Oh no, what am I going to do with it?" Just feel bad about it for a while.
My favorite one in terms of my own games is "That's weird" or "That's interesting." I especially hate interesting because at least stupid is telling you that they don't like it.
but interesting is a very neutral term.
Yeah, though I feel most of the time it's like, I don't like it, but I don't know how to tell you that. So I'll just say it's interesting.
I've said that to people before.
Oh, Calvin.
I had to.
You're a bad person.
Otherwise, it was going to be really mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Though thinking about it, not every time I say that's interesting.
Right.
Am I being mean though? So, I
Right,
don't
right.
know.
Yeah.
Well,
Depends on
All
how
about
you
the
say
tone of voice.
Yeah.
I guess Jeremy's next.
Oh, okay.
Do you have
Cool.
a company name thing? I forgot.
Yeah, tentatively it's lowercase games. That's what I'm going with. I'm in the process of getting everything formed right now, so I'm going through contracts with people that are interested in helping me and working with me. I've been working on this game Dinosword that had a Kickstarter, and it didn't end up going the way that I planned, but I decided to keep going. Some people have been interested in what I'm doing. So they've wanted to help me finish up, help me get the game done. So I'm in the process of going through all the fun, I guess, contracts and things, and meanwhile making art and helping do some code for the game with Thomas Finch, who's working on I always say this wrong, Ethereal? Yeah.
I think that's right.
I think that's right. I should definitely know how to say it by now. But
I used to say that
engine?
wrong too.
Is that an engine?
no, it's a game guy from Kickstarter is working on. We both kind of met through projects that we've been working on that didn't quite pan out. So he was like head on code in that game, and I was head doing art, and we just kind of pulled together our resources, and we've been working together since.
Awesome.
Neat. Tell us a little bit about Dinosword.
Dinosword is a crazy little platforming game about a dinosaur named Chompy who decides to a newspaper lands on his lap one day, and he reads it and finds out that there's an asteroid that's going to come and destroy his planet. But he's the only one who knows because no one else reads newspapers but him. And he goes to try and stop the asteroid by finding a legendary sword to cut the asteroid in half. That's the long and short of it.
That sounds totally logical. I love it.
Of course, that's what happens.
What genre? Like a platformer? Or?
It's a platformer, yeah. It's a platformer with definite NES leanings. I grew up kind of during that, so I don't know. There's a certain appeal. That and like shareware games. My parents owned like a print shop growing up, and I would pretty much break their IBM 386 on a weekly basis, trying to upload shareware games to it because they were so buggy. So there's a lot of influence from that too.
Sweet.
But
like a Podgy, or how do you say that? Crap. I'm thinking of like Hocus Pocus and those like weird,
Oh, yeah.
kind of not very polished shareware games. Yeah.
yeah, it's actually before like the whole Unreal thing, like Epic Mega Games.
Yeah, Epic Mega
like
Games. Same
Jill in the
vibe.
Jungle and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, Jill in the Jungle. Yeah.
That was me when I was a little kid playing that game and playing like Jazz Jackrabbit and all these bizarre.
Jazz Jackrabbit and like the first two Duke Nukems.
Commander Keen.
Yeah, Commander Keen, of course. So there's a lot of inspiration from those games and what I'm doing. So yeah, I guess I don't know if I explained it terribly well as far as the premise. Well, I guess the premise is explained, but not like the gameplay. I guess the way that I'm trying to set it up is every time that Chompy receives an item, it completely kind of changes how you decide to play the game. So you kind of approach it differently every time, and then like realize after you get a certain item, you're like, oh wait, I need to go back to that one spot because what I have now would make sense. It's all planned out so that everything that you get can be used everywhere that you end up.
Rad. So it's like an open world type thing, not like a levels setup.
It has levels, but it's meant to be like, oh man, it's difficult to explain. You can move forward without having the items, but there are things that as you move along, you're like, oh wait, like. Oh,
so you'd have to replay it, or something.
Yeah, you can go back into different spots and like, yeah, it's. I guess it's harder to explain. I'll have to work on that, but that's generally it. It's about exploration. Not everything that you fight or that you there's lots of different animals in the game that you can jump on, or you can decide to avoid them, and like you can either be a pacifist or you can like just squish every animal, and you get different results based on that. So there's different ways to play it that I'm working out.
I remember you mentioned Clash at Demon Head, I think. Did you say that?
Yes, that's a huge influence too. That's another one.
Yeah, it made me think, are you going to have a map like that at all, or not really? Or
that's the intention. Like, you can go to all the levels, like similar in Clash of Demon Head, but in Clash of Demon Head, I guess there's some of that goes on where you can get to certain places without once you find certain items or get certain items, but yeah, there's different ways of going about it in this.
I've only played Clash of Demon Head recently.
Really?
I didn't have it as a kid. I only played last week. I played it for the first time on Game Boy. Yeah.
That game is so robust for like an NES game. It's crazy. And I mentioned Crystalis being similar in like kind of not very widely appreciated games that had a lot going on. And Jeremy hadn't played that one, and I think he should get on that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to, for sure. I gotta check that out.
You know what? We should say like the percentages where we kind of think we're done in our game, like, you know, development wise. I know it's hard to like, or are we at the beginning or in the middle of development, or like what?
We're like with Legend of Dungeon, we're kind of like at 150% done. Like, is that also
that's about right.
We're done with it, and then we're adding more.
And that work that we're done, the added more is theoretically
really
done.
Cool to me. That is like the thing. That's one of those big things I'd hoped would come out of like, I guess, the new way that games are happening, where you could just throw out an update like a year after release and add a bunch more content, or just, you know, make it a better game. I don't know. I like that. I like that it's not. I like that. Now, I'm not talking about early access as much because that's a little bit different. But I like after you hit 1.0, you could just go in there and very easily add a bunch of stuff to your game if you want.
It has awesome potential, but it also, unfortunately, has the downside of letting people be lazy, too.
Well, yeah.
So you can launch something, have it be a 1.0 that's buggy as heck.
Yeah, good point.
And that's something we're seeing with AAA titles a lot, actually, is they're launching, like, they're shipping stuff, and it's not actually done on some level. And it's not up to the standards that you would expect if you had to just put that disc in your PlayStation 1 and play it, you know?
Right. So would you guys say Upsilon? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Upsilon Circuit.
Is that pretty much at the beginning of development right now?
So? Oh, yeah.
It's early. It's like one of those things that I feel like it's going to snowball, kind of. We're building up the groundwork for it now, and like filling out the skeleton. It feels a little
slow right now, but it's gonna.
We don't have much to show yet.
In a lot of ways, we are about a fourth of the way through.
Well, that's not.
I think
bad.
so.
That's
almost.
That's
oh man, lot. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hopefully, time-wise, we're not a fourth of the way through it, because that means we'll take like 3
if you
years
think about
to make
like
it.
the actual content though that has been generated, like the actual like art assets and the like where we are with like the web end stuff, that's not
Jay, you haven't actually said much about your own game.
I was gonna go last, but Jeremy, what percent do you think you're done?
That's an interesting question, because I ended up.
Sorry.
Sorry. I ended up. I guess I was working with a developer, Sam Bayless, who ended up not being able to continue with the project, and I had to try and find someone else to work with, Thomas. So when it comes to art, I'm like way ahead. I've got a ton of art. I would say I'm like maybe 85-90% of the way, and everything else is just like I'm just piling more on, or like going through and like fixing and making revisions and trying to make it really polished. But Thomas, on the other hand, is maybe like 25-30% of the way. So that's kind of where we are. It's a varied kind of, I don't know. Percentage, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's the same with mine. It's really hard to stick a percentage on that. But okay, my game is Dropsy. It's a game. Oh, cat mic.
Here?
Cat mic.
Yeah.
Cat mic. Sorry, I turned the cat mic on.
Okay, that's fine. I don't mind having the cat accentuate my speaking or whatever. Anyway, okay, so my game's called Dropsy. It's an adventure game. There's a few things different, I guess, than the usual adventure game, in that it's kind of open worldy, and the puzzles aren't as involved as you would be used to seeing in adventure games. Like they're kind of light in a way, and it's really an avenue to tell a story, I guess. Like I really am big on like how would you say it? Like the iceberg effect, where you plan all this lore for your world, and you just fill in the history and the details, like a Lord of the Rings-esque. Like, he had so many things that just didn't even make it into the stories about his world, and a lot of them he wrote after the book came out. But whatever, like. So I went in there, and most of the development time has been world building and like making lore and stuff, and then and making a believable kind of world. And I know that's kind of weird for adventure games anyway. Like that genre generally doesn't have like people groups and like little factions who interact with each other too much. But and that's the big draw to it. Like, in the game, you play as this clown, and like 5 years ago, there was a circus fire. It's 5 years before the game starts, anyway. And your circus burns down, and some people die, and you're kind of a creepy-looking clown. But you have like zero ill intent. You are just like a good, like nice clown. Like there's nothing other than looking creepy. There's like nothing seedy about Dropsy at all. But everyone in the game world kind of thinks, oh yeah, that creepy clown at that circus killed everyone in the fire because you look scary. So naturally that kind of happens when there's a horrific event, and there's a scary person to blame it on. So
there's so many questions.
You have so many questions.
Okay. So the game world, like, starting out, very few people like you at all. Like most people are either like horrified of you, like kids run away. If you try to hug a kid, you like go to jail really quick. It's like hugging is a mechanic. Like there's a hug button, and Dropsy, when he hugs someone, like their picture, like a little coloring appears on your bedroom wall. Like, so it's kind of like a little collectible thing, go hug everyone. And some people require a little puzzling to figure out how to get them to let you hug them. But so basically the game, I'm giving away. There's a whole crazy series of events that happens that widens the scope to more than just this fire mystery and you wandering around hugging people. But I'm just like making sure to say nothing about that because I don't want to ruin it. But yeah, that's what it is. It's like an adventure game, LucasArts, style. There's no text. All the speech is icons or basically emoticons. I want to try to make a very like universal.
That's awesome.
Game, and I wanted to make sure, like, as a design thing, that you can only do good things. Like, you don't. In some games, they just overlook that you're stealing some guy's all of his jewelry when you're looking through his drawers or whatever,
Right, yeah. Link barges into strange people's houses and breaks all of their pots. What is up with that?
Yeah, that stuff. I wanted to make it to where the only actions you can take are good ones, and like. As it kind of a challenge in the design or whatever, Now, bad things might happen sometimes accidentally as a result of your actions, but it's mostly just you do good things. And that's it. We're about, I'd say 40%, or with the assets, we're probably about halfway done. Programming end of things, we've had a few hangups, and we're having to redo our scripting system right now. So, to make it more friendly for, like, mobile, because we want to port it to mobile. Since it's a point and click, you might as well.
Right.
But, but we're about to re-implement all of our puzzles and get those art assets, like, actually hooked up. But right now, you can pretty much explore the whole world. Most of the art for that's done, and listen to the nice music. The soundtrack's done. So that's where I'm at right now with that. So.
Yeah, it's like one of those things is like you can only release a game as fast as the slowest part of it.
Yes.
So it's like it's very hard to be like, yeah, we've got all the art, but this is here. You can't like add those together and be like 25 and 50 is
yes,
like we got.
I relate to Jeremy in a way, but I'm kind of lucky in the sense that let's say my programmers quit. I could just edit a few things and it would be this art thing, and then I could just release it like that or something. Though my backers might not be very happy about that.
So I have questions. I'm going to ask the hard questions about Dropsy.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Does this take place in our universe? I mean, is this like a real space?
Okay, it takes place in an alternate kind of Earth where there's definitely an America-like place that shares our history, and there's, in a lot of cultures in the game are kind of mishmashes of... There's an island that you can... or a peninsula, sorry. It feels like an island to me, but that you can go to, and it has a group of people there who are like 80% sort of... Rastafarian, Jamaica inspired, a lot of liberation theology. They have their own religion, but it's mixed with Norse mythology. So they have like Thor, but he's like real chilled out and has sunglasses on, and it's I don't know, but everything is kind of like Earthbound, how Eagle Land was like a weird America. That's kind of like this game is set in kind of a weird, maybe early 90s technology America. And the technology level is because I didn't want to have to deal with cell phones, because those things make it really hard to not fill it. They make it hard story-wise, because then people are like, well, why couldn't they just call them on their cell phone or something like that? So I'm removing that, and there's some pay phones, but no cell phones yet. But, yeah.
So like here in our universe, if you want to be a clown, you just put clown makeup on.
If you want to stop being a clown,
it's a choice. It's just a choice. Is it a choice for Dropsy?
You are really touching on something that is getting close to like Spoilerville. But
Calvin, you're better.
That is such a good question. He likes being a clown. Let's just say that. So he wants to keep his face paint on and stuff.
See, yeah,
you can blatantly lie to us. It's okay.
Now the thing is to me, it's like, okay, you said that he's genuinely good and not actually creepy.
Oh, so you think there's some dissonance here,
right? Like if you choose to put on clown makeup,
you're just a horrible person.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, Dropsy's an anomaly. Okay. All right. I kind of thought you were driving at that, but I wanted to give you the benefit of the doubt. But see, that's kind of the point of that's kind of why he's a clown, because what other, like, kind of professions or whatever, like, types of people are, like, most widely, like, not liked right now? And I guess clowns would be pretty high up. I don't see many good portrayals of clowns, so, you know. Also, his sprite was like a evil boss in a game I made like 10 years ago, and so he looks a lot better now. But he was like, that's where he originally came from. And then, do you guys know about on Something Awful? There was like a choose your own adventure game with Dropsy in like 2008. And I repurposed that old sprite, and he kind of became this character. You know, people would tell me, go left, and then they started telling me to hug everybody. And then that came from that. Like, and then they started telling me to paint faces on everybody. And it just evolved into... Also, Dropsy can kind of communicate with animals. Like, he's way better at it than humans anyway. So, anyway.
I absolutely adore the crowd creative mind.
It was really neat, and I'm so glad that happened. I would have never come up with something this whatever on my own, you know. Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff like that in Legend of Dungeon. Like a ton.
Thanks. I'm so glad we did our Kickstarter, even if we gotten no money from it. Just the people's ideas and input and stuff was
such a weird game.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I need to play it. Sorry. Oh man, I agree though, because I had a failed Kickstarter in the summer for Dropsy, or summer of 2013, and that, like, all the people I met through that and the little community that built around it was super encouraging. It was so nice. And then I did a successful one after that, but yeah.
That's good. You know what that is? That is a sign that you're a dedicated game developer, because it's basically, you get like this whole, no, you can't do that sort of stuff. And you're like, no, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah. It felt like that in my brain. You know, I was like, oh, my dreams are ruined. And yeah. Well, or I'm just trying to take everyone's money, and I'm just really good at that. So.
That could be important for being a game developer too. Maybe we should look into that.
Yeah,
getting better at taking people's money.
Yeah, I'll take people's money after my game comes out and give them my game. That's how I'll do it.
That's an interesting way to do that.
Yeah.
Feature creep.
Yeah. Is my cat purring coming through too loudly in the...
No.
You can hear it?
I'm
turn
sad.
your cat cam.
Turn my
mic up.
Cat cam.
Cat mic up?
Yeah.
Oh, man. But,
cat purring, for some reason, doesn't get picked up by microphones very well. My cat has like a magically loud purr, but you never hear it on the microphone. Like, she snore purrs when she's sleeping.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah, I think Felix is... My cat's so fat, it's just, like, muffles all the purr sound, so you can't hear it. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. But,
I am catless.
Oh, then you're not a real game developer. You're doomed.
My girlfriend has a cat.
Okay. Do you have a chance? There's a chance there.
Dropsy has a dog.
We did the math. If you don't have a cat, you're probably not going to be a successful game dev.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did math.
I would love to see the chart if you have it, or the whatever.
Yeah,
it's very complicated. I don't know if you understand it.
It's science.
Oh man. Oh, that's good. I'm not even going to contest that I wouldn't understand that. That's it.
We actually said that to a group of college students.
We had slides and everything.
We had slides.
They made us come and talk to these college kids.
They made us. So
I told them all to drop out.
Yeah, you did actually.
Oh,
God. To all the college students and told them all to drop out.
I kind of try to avoid that kind of thing because I've talked at a few things. I talked at a for-profit university about about my game, and the way I did it was not a good way at all. Because like I dropped out of high school. Well, my grades sucked too bad, and it was like I blame ADHD, like seriously. But anyway, I dropped out of high school, and then I did like telemarketing and other stuff for like 7 or 8 years. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe I will make a game. Because I used to be... Do you guys know Click and Play and the Games Factory or Multimedia Fusion? Any of those programs?
Games Factory I've definitely heard of.
Yeah, it came packed in like Sim Tower. Click and Play did back in like 1993 or 4.
I remember Sim Tower.
Yeah, well, Click and Play came with it, so you might have installed it. But it was an event-based... It's like Game Maker. It was like an early version of Game Maker. And they're in competition with them still, with their newest incarnation. But, like, I was in that little community, when I was, like, 12 or 13. Derek Yu was in that community. He made Eternal Daughter, if you've heard of that game, using that software. But whatever, I totally gave up on that, though. That was like my big dream and everything. Like when I was like 18 and I dropped out of high school, I was like, well, that's not happening. Because back then there was no independent game thing happening. And, it was like 2005. And so...
That was the beginning of it all.
Yeah, and then so I just did telemarketing, and I'm like, doo-doo-doo, and I made some music in between there, but, like, that's not gonna do anything. And so I don't really have good advice, though, for people
who are currently,
I have no industry. I've never been to a big event yet. I went to Fantastic Arcade in Austin, which is really cool, but it's still not... It's just like some nerds hanging out. It's not like, I don't have any industry, anything. So it's weird to talk at things now. I feel like a faker.
I remember feeling really lost for a long time about all that kind of stuff. Like, I still don't feel like I'm an authority on anything. And so when somebody asks me for my advice, I'm always like, well, I don't really know anything. Like, I have to kind of give that disclaimer because I'm always worried that someone will actually do what I say and that it's the wrong thing.
Look at it. My family's destitute now, and it's because...
I'm not worried about that at all.
You'll just send people to the...
we got this email from these people a couple weeks ago because they read the article about us being in a treehouse.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, well, we were going to do this. We have like $20,000. Can we make a game for $20,000?
And I don't really know how to program.
I don't know how to program.
I can't do art. But
if you give me $20,000, I bet I could.
Well, no, they have they were gonna put their life savings into this stuff, and we were like, we're like, I don't think that's a good idea, but I don't know.
In general, my two pieces of advice is like, first of all, if you're going to college, drop out. If you haven't gone to college, don't go.
Don't bother.
And then second, don't make video games.
Yep.
It's too hard, and you should not try.
You know what? Yeah, that's a good advice too. Everyone follow that. But like,
well, if you do it anyways, at that point,
I'd say I agree with your college. I think me and Jeremy talked about this.
We had this conversation separately, I think.
Yeah, I feel like if you do go to college, then it better not be like a creative discipline, because I feel like that's almost useless now. Like if you're going for accounting, that might... I mean, that's standardized. What you learn there is going to apply like everywhere. But I've read... Oh yeah, or a doctor. You might want to go to school for that one.
I learned how to doctor on Google. It's okay.
No, our open source doctor community forum.
Terrifying. Like,
that's awesome.
We got nervous.
OpenDoctor.net. Come to our clinic. I don't know. That would be weird.
I'm going to check and see if that is available when I
do free heart surgeries from now until.
No. Doctor.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, what were we talking about?
You should drop out of college.
You should drop out of college and you should make games.
Yes, like that's so weird to me that even is a thing still. Like college, and you know what? I know I live near Full Sail, and I know a lot of the professors at Full Sail, and they seriously really care. Like they're doing the best that they possibly can for the students that they have, but I get the sense that even they have this feeling of like a lot of these guys didn't need to do this. And I hope they don't listen to this because they're gonna yell at me or something.
No, it's anonymous enough. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, anyway, but I get the sense that they feel like that, and I kind of feel like maybe at one point that was necessary, but the way it is right now, I don't think it is. Like I've even read people who said that they only look at portfolios and then the actual like application, if you want an industry job anyway, like the actual application is like secondary or like after you've picked through all the portfolios. You know, no one really... I don't think anyone is really going to care where you graduated from if you can do some really amazing stuff. So.
It's actually when we were looking to like hire people for Upsilon Circuit stuff, it was a negative to me.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, okay, well, you've been classically trained, so is your brain broken?
Are you in a little tiny box?
Did you put yourself did you put yourself in a box?
That is a really good point. Okay, let's not get the I don't want everyone. There could be. What if this gets really popular and we make like 30% of the people who listen, who are our target audience, like really depressed?
Maybe they'll drop out.
And
save some money.
You've achieved your goal then.
It's a service.
Yeah, we're helping people.
Okay.
That's what we do.
I think there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, whenever I think about you talk about a doctor going to school and getting their, becoming a doctor so that they can have a practice. But like when it comes to the creative field, like you hear about like classes on like Hendrixian guitar for like guitar school, and it's like Jimi Hendrix didn't go to guitar school. He just rocked. Like he just figured it out and he did his own thing. So like to make something cool, it seems like that's a path that you need to take. It needs to be like a personal path where like you can learn good form and good technique from going to school in some aspects, but to actually express yourself and do something creative, you have to kind of make a leap and do something on your own in some facet. I don't know. That's how I feel about it.
You can't teach creativity in school.
Right.
I think that is really what that comes down to. Like good problem solving and creativity aren't things you can teach. They're habits and concepts that you can encourage early on. Yeah. But like once you're in college, if you're not a creative person, like I don't think you can teach someone to be a creative person.
That sounds really bad.
It does.
I
don't mean it like
I agree. Like, but I will say there's something to be said for like classes, I guess, especially when it comes to stuff like anatomy or like even just learning from a person is valuable who has a skill that you don't have. Like, seriously, I really want to learn how to draw anatomy well because I am not talented in that area, and I've read books, but I kind of feel like I do need to take a class on it or a series of classes on it to kind of get it full on, you know? So I guess that would help, but the whole construct of school and getting a degree isn't necessarily that, and yeah, I agree, is not really something you need in a creative field.
For the amount of money that it costs you to have college tuition, you could probably pay a private tutor to get a one-on-one experience that is unique to you in whatever thing you're interested in. which would, instead of going to like the, I don't know, it's like,
okay, no, it's like this. Think about it this. Let's take the anatomy example. This is brand new. I just got this in my head.
Go ahead, share your brand new head.
Let's say you compare somebody who has gone and taken a couple classes to do anatomy, as opposed to somebody who spent the time and effort to figure it out on their own. There's going to be a vast difference between the two. One is going to take a lot longer. It's going to be a lot more effort, and that's going to show. And they're going to know it in a way that nobody else knows it. And that's pretty awesome.
Well, I will say that, like, that's not mutually exclusive because, like, I when I was saying classes, I was thinking, like, you have, like, a naked dude and you're, like, drawing him. Or, you know, like, something it's, like, an environment where you can better kind of, like... And it is valuable to learn from someone who is good at something, you know, already. So, but, you know, you don't have to, like... learn yourself into like a really rigid way of doing stuff either. But I see your point. I
think the most valuable thing in a lot of creative fields is feedback, more so than anything else. In a sense, like, what are you getting from a teacher? You're getting their thoughts and opinions on what you do.
Right.
And
their suggestions. And so maybe you could even open source that in its own way. Like, that's kind of what Deviant Art does.
Screenshot Saturday.
Or Screenshot Saturday for video. Yeah, you know, in a lot of ways that helps you learn an awful lot.
I have seen guys learn anatomy that way. Like, on Something Awful, I followed the pixel art thread, and there's a dude who was drawing some really spaghetti-looking limbs, and now he's pretty darn good. And it's not just like this one picture. He can kind of knock out different poses pretty well. So, you know, you're right. That's pretty effective.
It's also just a matter of dedicating yourself to it too. In general, like, one of the things that's nice about a class is it's a thing that you dedicate yourself to. You go, you show up, do the thing, you do your homework, unless you don't do your homework.
It's like 90% helping you discipline yourself or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of it that is just dedicating yourself to that. So for some people, going to school for something is very valuable because they lack that internal motivation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Say someone has, I guess, a general opinion already as to what they want to do. And I think in some cases where you end up going to school, it's sort of a gamble. Unless you have some form of knowledge of every teacher or that you're going to encounter while you're there, you can end up in the situation where you're paying this exorbitant amount of money to maybe find like one or two teachers that you really connect with. And maybe that's worth it. Maybe if you find the right one, it's all a gamble. Like, in a lot of cases, you're setting yourself up to potentially have good teaching. But in a lot of cases, you know, when you're young and you're getting out of school, like, you don't necessarily know. You haven't done the groundwork to, like, find what you're doing artistically, maybe. So you jump into the situation hoping something happens.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think that's maybe the biggest problem, I would say, with, like, an institution. If you want to go to school and learn anatomy, like, you can be like, oh, like, I know this one guy and he kills it and I really like what he does and we can, you know, I can learn from him. But, like, when you're going into a university or something like that, it's very hard to be like, all the money I'm spending is awesome for every single person that's teaching me, you know, because everyone's going to have a different way of learning, and I don't know.
Feature creep.
So anyway, on to the topic of the day, pizza.
We actually have a pizza story. It's mildly video game related.
Not a pizza story.
The pizza.
Understand, it is about the pizza.
I know.
You still
It's like legends. It was a legendary pizza.
It is not a legendary pizza. It is the legendary pizza.
I'm pretty sure that pizzeria makes those regularly.
I don't think it was a real place that exists.
All right, go ahead and elaborate. Just because I don't know what you're talking about.
So. Sorry.
So we went to
at PAX Prime.
PAX Prime.
Yeah.
We got a hotel, and on the first day before everything started up, we went to meet our artists for who's working with us on Upsilon Circuit. Cobra Mode.
We don't care about that.
No, I'm getting there.
Hard to deal with.
Yeah, I stopped you guys and your game, and I think I saw a picture, and you're like, "We finally met our artist guy," or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're hanging out with him for the first time, seeing him, and
we need food.
Right, we need food, so we go off, and we're like, "Oh, we'll just gotta get a pizza thing." There's pizza everywhere, right? No big deal. So we find the nearest pizza place. We walk down there, and it's just a little off to start with. Like, it seemed a little weird. I don't really know how to describe it.
New York pizza in Seattle, which felt weird to begin with.
Right, but they weren't New Yorker people. They weren't Italian.
I don't know. It doesn't even matter.
It doesn't matter.
But the menu had one size of pizza, which is pizza.
Yeah.
And the topping, like to get a topping, was like $3. I'm like, wow. See, that's expensive.
Was the base pizza expensive?
Oh yeah, it was like almost $30 for the pizza. But like, we looked at them and they're like, oh, they're pretty big. Like they were like rolling one out, and they're like, yeah, sure, it's a pizza. Whatever.
Only when you're like at a PAX Prime are you going to rationalize $30 as being, well, it's big. $30.
Right. So we purchased this pizza. They're gonna make it, and then we come back. So we go off and we come back, and the size of this box that the pizza came in.
Weird. It was weirdly big.
It's like out here. Okay.
When we brought it back to the hotel room, they had like normal width doors. You couldn't hold the sides of the box.
Oh my god!
In the
you kind of turned sideways and kind of. Was assisting getting the pizza, and we thought, I expected the pizza to be slightly smaller than the box, and when you open it up, you see this pizza and it's smaller than the box, and that's okay. That's great. It's not a ridiculously mega pizza, right?
Yeah.
But when we opened this box, there was something inside of it that I don't even know. You can barely describe it as pizza. It was a supernatural thing.
It was like a religious experience.
There was a mountain. A literal mountain of pepperoni on this pizza.
Oh, wow. It's like some weird David Lynch in real life thing going on or something.
I think there was almost a pound of pepperoni on this.
Oh, my goodness.
Howard folded his slice over, and there was more pepperoni in it than there was everything else.
This has to mean something or something.
Yeah. No, none of us could finish a single slice.
Starving. All of us were starving.
We waited forever for this pizza.
Did that thing just last you the whole rest of the thing?
It should have. We didn't have time to eat the rest, sadly. But
so we eat what we can of this demon pizza. Right?
There's something about a pizza that you can't possibly have time to consume that's just amazing to me. It is someone 2 days, a week later, they're just like, oh god, I gotta finish this pizza.
I like imagining the pizza chef guy and throwing. I don't know.
So we went back. We went back to the establishment to try and figure out what the heck, And the whole building was gone.
It had been condemned for years. We asked somebody.
And there was an old guy outside. And he was like,
all right.
What happened to the pizza place? And he's like,
it was closed 30 years ago.
That didn't really happen.
No.
But we would like to pretend that it
felt like it should
have.
So
the pizza was true. The pile of pepperoni was real.
Yeah, all that was real.
Okay.
It was real. The place not existing was Calvin's imagination.
Okay. I think we've exhausted our pizza talk, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
After you talk about the pizza, there really isn't anything else.
Yeah, there's nothing left. I mean, why even exist?
I'm not sure.
What's the point of living now that the pizza is gone?
There was a pizza.
Ultimate experience.
There was a pizza that I had in Milwaukee once at a place called Marty's Pizza, Party Pizza. It was called the Super Colossal, and it was the entire size of the oven. And you stick the whole this big thing in the oven and then pull it back out. It was this massive pizza. It's probably not as impressive as the pizza, but the name of it, the Super Colossal, is pretty amazing for a pizza name.
No, that is awesome. It might have been bigger. I don't know, but it was just that this was a pizza. You just go in and you're you'd like a pie.
Yeah, theirs is bizarre. Yours is just big. Theirs has a pyramid of pepperoni and others.
The question you have to ask yourself is, can you finish a single slice?
Yeah.
Did you finish a slice?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, your pizza sucks. Sorry.
Oh, man. I like the idea of the guy just being disgruntled. They're oh, you want a pizza? Okay, $30. And then he just, gets everything he owns and just dumps it on the thing. He's yeah, they want a pizza. I'll show them a pizza. Just dumping it off.
Yeah, this was, his breaking point. And after that, he did something nuts or something, yeah.
When we go back for Prime next year, if we do, I'm so totally going to bring a horde of people to share a pizza.
It's not going to be there anymore. It's going to be ashes and something is carved into the concrete under or something.
Simple.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I felt full for so long.
All of us felt horrible afterwards. You're it was a hotel. We didn't have a fridge that could fit this pizza in it.
I felt like I was never going to eat again.
It was crazy. So, afterwards, our artist got on the phone with his wife and told her about the pizza.
That is awesome.
That's how pizza, it was the pizza.
Jeremy, did anybody get on the phone and tell someone about your pizza?
I didn't realize this was a comparison.
Pizza showdown.
It's a competition now.
I guess between the two names, the Super Colossal and the Pizza, just singular the Pizza, I don't know. They're still, it's close. As far as an experience, I definitely would take the pizza over the pizza I had, I think.
I would never have the pizza again.
Oh, really? You don't want to take other people to experience it?
I don't know. It's too scary.
And you can't warn them. Hey, let's all go for pizza. Right?
Oh, you're right.
How enjoyable would that be?
That would be pretty great.
Why not just order it next time and it'd be just a normal pie?
I'm not having it.
Not having it?
I don't think it can happen again.
Don't order it again. You'll ruin it. It'll be like when I bought a DVD season of Ninja Turtles and tried to put it on, and it just was not entertaining me. And I'm no, the magic. No, it's gone. Yeah. That's what'll happen with the pizza, so don't do it. Well, that was enlightening.
Feature creep.